Several years ago, we realized that we were losing our beach slowly but surely. I think the rate is like, around here is like 2 feet a year. And it got to the point where the tide literally was at the bottom of the dune at high tide, which means that if we have people on the beach at high tide, they couldn't be on the beach. And it's obviously, it was going to take a toll on our economy.
Topsail Beach is one of those beaches that has been eroding over the years. We got hit in the late 90s by Fran and Floyd, along with a few other storms. There have been a few other near misses over the years. The beach was at a point where every lunar tide, the ocean was lapping at the dunes. Keeping those up, the town was having to do some sand scraping operations on pretty much an annual basis, I believe, to keep those dunes in place. And it was becoming very problematic to maintain the dune structure and the properties as they were.
And there were houses in the north end that had less than 20 feet of beach in front of them at high tide. At a lunar high tide, at some points in times, the water would actually lap up to the pilings.
It was pretty obvious, especially on the north end. When you go out, and there are a lot of people who come down here and rent during the summer. Our normal population, I think, is something like 500 and some citizens in the town. On any given week in the summer, we'll have 8,000 people here renting houses, both on the beach and otherwise. And at high tide, when they've got to pull up their chairs and they're coming back home at high tide, that's a pretty good indicator that maybe next year they might not come back. If they don't come back, our economy goes down the tubes.
The economic livelihood of this island is the beach. If you think about it, we have 500 residents and probably about 1,490 homes. Well, basically there's 1,000 small businessmen on this island renting out their houses for the tourist industry. So the tourist business is Topsail business in large part.
From May to September, Topsail Island is a major nesting area for sea turtles coming in from the Atlantic Ocean. We must continue to provide a clean and safe area for turtles to survive. This will not be possible without periodic beach nourishment.
You always have a choice with whatever you do. Would it have been would the wise choice be the no action approach? No. And I think the town had gone through that on multiple cases. You look at the federal project that they've been working with the Corps of Engineers on, and they've done an environmental impact statement, and the no action alternative is not the preferred alternative. They went through and did an environmental impact statement on the original permit for this interim project, and the no action alternative was not the best alternative. So at that point, it's pretty clear. And there was a previous project, federal project, that had been the original federal project, the same thing. So 3 times in a row, you've had studies that have said action is needed. Could you choose not to do action? Yes. Would it be the wise thing to do or the prudent thing to do? No. To preserve the town in the state it is now, it's something needed to be done.
The main part of it is getting the money. You know, we were lucky in that our forefathers, if you will, had the foresight to start accumulating funds for the federal project, and we wound up having enough funds to do the interim. We're going to now, we're already planning to start, you know, building up that fund again, because we're pretty convinced that the federal government isn't going to be able to come through with their project anytime soon, so we're going to have to do it again. Other people are having to convince their property owners to come up with some maybe pretty big bucks. We did it over a period of time.
We started in 2000 investigating the federal project, but in the year 2006, after 6 years of working with the federal government, we decided that the town needed to do an interim project. And that also had to be coordinated with the federal project. The way that the project was designed was to restore from the year 2000 survey of the beach back in 2006. Okay, so we were trying to restore the sand that was eroded away from when we had decided that the federal project was needed.
In 2003, that was our last tax reevaluation. The board at that point in time lowered the tax rate from 31 cents a hundred down to 27 cents a hundred, and then added 4 cents back specified for beach nourishment. So that 4 cents we had been saving up since 2003 to be able to take care of our beach, either through a federal project or through an interim project. So $400, if you had $1 million home, that'd be $400 a year.
Pender County has provided Topsail Beach over the past few years with funds for beach maintenance. And the state of North Carolina has provided 30% of the funding for this particular project. These funds, added to our own, which we've been collecting for over the past 7 years, made this project possible. Both the county and the state realize how important our beaches are to their economic welfare.
What we've done now is going to last, we hope, for quite a while, at least maybe 5-6 years, but we're also already planning to replenish that. Hopefully we won't let it go down to what it was. But we're going to try to come up with a program that we can continue to re-nourish the beach ourselves.
We put, I think it was 1,050,000 cubic yards of sand on our beach from the 1st of January of 2011 until the 15th of April of 2011. Our beach now at low tide is basically 300 feet wide. At high tide, it's about 100 feet wide.
You know, I've worked with a lot of towns up and down the coast, some of them wealthier than others. And what is amazing to me with this town is that they have been proactive and they have put the money away, and we were able to find a way to do that within the budget that they put away over the last 7 years. That's amazing. It is a very proactive situation to step up to the plate, and although they haven't stepped away from the federal project, they're still continuing to pursue that. They realize that there's a need in the interim to deal with the situation that they're given. And the town is very proactive on that. And I think everybody's coming around. I think most of the towns are realizing that the process with the federal government is not as fast as they would like, and that no matter what happens, the hurricanes are still going to come, and you need to protect yourself for that.
What many people from other parts of our state don't realize is that our small town is operating and maintaining what is the equivalent of a national park, which draws people from every state in the nation each year to vacation. Many of these same people also visit other areas of our state while they are here. The result is a huge amount of tourism revenue for our state. Sustaining and maintaining this wonderful and valuable natural resource, which so many people across our nation enjoy, cannot be accomplished by local government alone. All levels of government, local, county, state, and federal, must cooperate with each other to provide funding to ensure that all citizens will continue to enjoy our beaches in the future.